Now, first is that we'll be hearing a native from Baguio. He called himself as a shy guy. Now, ladies and gentlemen, to prove us how his being shy led him into achieving success in life. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Toastmasters Marlon Bautista.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, Dr. Joy. Kindly please confirm if you hear me clearly.
Yes, yes.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, thank you. I have always been shy and anxious. I am so nervous to speak in public. My knees are shaking. My heart is pumping. And I can't even remember what I have to say. Even right now, I am so nervous, and it is my first time to talk in front of the people. Well, virtually, but can you imagine? If this is an actual meeting, I could have been melted in fear. Distinguished Toastmasters and lovely guests, good afternoon. Since I was a kid in grade school, I've been scared in talking to new faces. New faces scare me. I rather sit at the back and talk to no one. I am nervous in recitations and in talking in front of the class. In my high school years, the same character I have. I am so shy that I could not even say hi or good morning to my crush at that time. During my college years, the same nervousness, fear, and lack of confidence I observed with my personality. We had a subject before, which is public speaking. If I remember correctly, that was our English 4 subject. I hardly passed this subject because of my low self-esteem. Did you know that even courting my wife, I am so shy? I have no guts to ask her out for dinner or for lunch. Luckily, I am a millennial. I have access to internet and social media, the Facebook. Can you imagine? I courted her in a modern way. We exchange chat messages, play online games just to have interaction. Virtually, I use these platforms to my advantage. But the day when we first met came and went out on a date. I am so nervous that my words are mumbling and I could not fully express what I wanted to say. Fast forward, now that I am an adult, I thought I can get away with this weakness that I have. I tried to analyze and find what is the real cause of this nervousness. I used root cause analysis. This is a technique that we use in plant operation to identify the reason of process malfunction and failures. Being a technical person, a chemical engineer, I tried to incorporate technical ways on how to further improve my personality. Soon enough, I found the main cause. It is a major problem that needs to be corrected or troubleshoot in order for me or the whole plant operation to function effectively and achieve the desired results. The main reason of my extreme nervousness when talking to people, especially in public, is obviously lack of self-confidence. But why I lack self-confidence? What must be the reason? I further investigated a more distinct causes of this weakness. I found two reasons. The first one is that I lack substantial knowledge and information in a particular subject. When you have a little or limited knowledge of something, you begin to limit yourself. You begin to limit your confidence to interact with people discussing that particular topic. Most especially if those people are not your friends. The second reason why I lack confidence is that I am more concerned of what other people think about me when I express my insights and thoughts rather than being true to myself. This is deep, and I think most people are like this. They are limited and don't believe themselves. They rather please the people that they don't care about rather than pleasing, elevating, and believing in themselves. Intelligence is the ability to make finer distinction. If you cannot identify a problem, you can never solve the problem. The lessons that I gained from this analysis is number one, be adequate in knowledge and information. Read, read, read. Research, do your due diligence, do your homework, so that in time of interactions, you have something to share. It will somehow increase or boost your confidence and have the self-esteem that is needed in that particular moment. Number two, what other people think about you is none of your business. You cannot control what others people think. They will judge you, but do not concern yourself with this. Mind your own business. Just be sure that what you are doing is the right thing to do. To sum it up, we can always turn our weakness into a strength. This will be beneficial throughout our lifetime. But in doing so, it requires a tremendous willpower and strict self-discipline. It will take a lot of courage to change a trait or weakness that is hardened in our personality. But I'm taking the first step. That's why I'm here. This will be the beginning of my journey to become an effective public speaker. Sooner or later, it will be just in the memory that I was once a shy guy. Good afternoon. Back to you, Toastmaster today.
Okay, so thank you so much, Toastmasters Marlon. Now, indeed, that as you delivered your speech, we can truly feel and see your equanimity, yet full of confidence in delivering your speech. So keep it up, and we look forward for more speeches from you, Toastmasters Marlon.
Thank you.
Now, our second speaker for today wants to be called Victoria. And her speech is named before her name. And now we'll find out and witness how victorious she is in her way and conquered life's challenges. She is a native from Mindoro, and she defines success as something you have achieved and accomplished. Ladies and gentlemen, the victorious Victoria.
Victoria! Victoria! One more seat, and this jeepney will soon leave. Hey, last one passenger! Victoria! Victoria! Distinguished Toastmasters and guests, good afternoon. When I was young, I didn't like my name, Victoria. Yes, because every time I hear a caller from a jeepney terminal shout my name, Victoria, a town in Mindoro, I get annoyed and feel that it was the worst name ever. When I entered high school, one teacher asked me to introduce myself, explaining the meaning of my name. I never had any idea what it was. According to my parents, they got it from a calendar hanging on a wall. So I went to the school's library and looked for the meaning of my name. I was really surprised upon knowing that my name has a powerful meaning. It means strong and victorious. But as I grew up, that definition became so vague, senseless, and forgotten. I was raised in a family with lots of sad memories. My father, stowed away from Negros Occidental, decided to go to Manila to look for his aunt who helped him survive in his life. My mother, who never finished elementary, left summer when she was young. Both of them worked and survived on their own. They met in Laguna, got married there, and then on September 9, 1971, I was born. After a year, we moved to Mindoro and started our life there. Because my father is 20 years older than my mother, almost every day we would wake up hearing them shouting and yelling at each other. Almost every day we hear them fight, arguing about money, about jobs, about my father's vices like cockfighting, drinking, and smoking habits. It broke my heart, and I was devastated. Despite all this, they were good providers. They see to it that we have food on our table to eat. Until one day, my father told me one semester in college, "We can no longer provide your schooling, Victoria. You must stop. You are not the only one who is studying here. There are 5 other boys after you, so you better stop this coming semester. We cannot afford anymore." My father admitted. It was the most painful words I heard from my father. I was devastated, but I never lost hope. I stopped for 1 semester and went with my equanimity, applied for a job in a small carinteria near our house. I told the owner that I was willing to work without any salary, but that they must pay my tuition in college. I never thought whether my compensation was enough or not for the work I did. There I worked as early as 5 in the morning, went to school at 3 p.m., go back to work again at 7:30, and went home to sleep at 11 p.m. Working in a restaurant is a tough job. I washed dishes and pots, I carried bottles of soft drinks, I served food, made ice bags, everything. I even remember hiding my hands with my classmates because it was soaked with soap and water for many hours of dishwashing. Good. I was young then. I have lots of energy and equanimity. That cycle continued for 4 years until I finished my bachelor degree. After graduation, I immediately took the licensure examination, but unfortunately, I became devastated again for not passing it the first time. The next year after, I took it again and passed it. I started my job as a high school teacher in one of the public schools in Mindoro, and from then on, I was able to help my parents for the family's expenses, which made my father and my mother very happy and proud. I worked so hard until one day, my father got sick due to a heart problem and died after a few days in the hospital. I became devastated again because I was so close to him and I am the apple of his eyes. I even look like him. After a year, I got married, which made my mother furious because she never liked and accepted my husband. She went to the mayor and warned him not to allow us to get married because I was already 30 then. The mayor advised my mother to accept us, but she never did. And that made me devastated again. Despite that, we created good memories as a couple. We are happy even if the world is against us. With equanimity in our minds and hearts, we raised 3 beautiful and adorable girls and made them happy children. But life is not always a bed of roses. Few years later, my mother was hospitalized due to back pain, which made her unable to walk. Her feet and limbs started to deteriorate. She became irritable, thin, and bedridden. I took care of him and brought her to orthopedic hospital. My pockets were empty. I had loans here and there. For us to survive in Manila together with my brother, I asked help from different government agencies to support the medical expenses of my mother. But a year after, she died and made me devastated again. This time, I was already sinking in debt. I do not know what to do with my life. What I only have is my husband, my children, my job, and my faith that everything will be all right. I even remember crying and kneeling in adoration chapel begging for help. We continued to be strong despite these devastating events in my life. We looked for ways to survive. Because of my husband's full support, we engaged into different businesses like delivering buko juice in a school canteen, photocopying business, selling homemade fish balls and kikiam for students like during recess. With these hardships, opportunity came coming to Saudi Arabia for another life story. I brought my husband and eventually my kids, and now happily staying here for almost 13 years. I was devastated and never lose hope. I fell many times and stood up again. I was weak, but I learned to be strong and victorious because of my name, Victoria. Back to you, Toastmaster of the